Yes, sir. Welcome back to our show, making fun of cooking shows. And the best place to start, Linda Lou, is with the Food Network. I'm Cool J.
And I'm
I've
Linda
been
Lou. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, Linda Lou. I've been in the cooking field for over 40 years, in commercial cooking and front of the house a little bit. And Linda Lou has been on the front of the house for a lot of years, and she's one of the best catering chefs around. The last 8 years owned her own business. So we're here to have a little fun at the cooking show's expense. And Linda Lou is a big follower of these cooking shows. Me, I watch them every now and then. Linda Lou, it's to me, it's a little bit crazy how these cooking shows are set up. And the two we're going to do today is Chopped and Supermarket Stakeout. I'm sure you heard of them.
Oh, I'm sure everybody's heard of them at least once. What?
Well, I don't know. Maybe there might be some there might be some people out there that really don't pay attention to them. So anyway, we're going to have a little fun with that, and we're going to start off with Chopped. Now, Chopped has been around since 2019. Is when this Food Network took off. Its host is Ted Allen, who is a little rigid, I would say, at the least, right? I mean, he seems all businesslike. He doesn't really have a lot of personality to me, anyway. He kind of stands there and he announces who the chefs are
Mm-hmm.
and and where they're from, and then he just kind of says, "Let's go." And I mean, listen. I mean, I understand that you got to be somewhat professional, but this guy is boring to me.
Well, he's not. Now, remember something. He is not a cook. He's not a chef. He's got no culinary experience. He is an announcer.
Okay.
So that's what he does, and he's got a lot of food knowledge. He knows what different things are, but he's not a chef. So that's what he plays his role. He is the host, the moderator, and that's what he does. He doesn't even taste the food.
No, he doesn't. I mean,
No, he can if
what,
he wants to, but he chooses not to.
well, what's
I
funny
don't
to
blame
me,
him sometimes for some of the stuff.
what's funny to me is that they try to be so professional on this show, and it is professional to a point. To a point, it is. I mean, you've got three judges, and we just watched a little bit today. They were doing some kind of. They're in search of a sous chef, and
Mm-hmm.
to me, all the contestants there, they're running around like nuts, trying to compete and building a whole thing from appetizers all the way up to their desserts, including of course, the main course, the entree. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they all. I don't know if I would have hired any of them, to be honest with you.
I kind of agree. They do. But by the same token, think about it. It's like being in a pressure cooker. Okay. You open up this basket, you have no clue as to what's in there. My brain would go because
Right.
some of the stuff is unidentifiable, never heard of it. If you have no experience with cooking that particular item, you're pretty much sunk. You do the best you can in the amount of time that's allotted to you. But how do you incorporate gummy worms in an entree? Come on,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
That's the crazy part. I mean, if you're really there to show off your cooking talent, if that's
Mhm.
what this whole thing is about, and you open that picnic basket or whatever it is, and you pull out, like you said, gummy worms, or you pull out pickled bologna. I mean,
Hmm.
pickled bologna. Who eats pickled bologna, and who would put that in any of their food, in a dessert, in, a, in an entree, or in an appetizer?
But the basic concept, I think, is it would show your skill as to first, okay, you've been in the kitchen, okay, I've run out of this, I can substitute this for that. And you're just, your mind has got to be going a mile a minute, trying to figure out what to do, what you need, and how you're going to do it. And if you fail, or if you put all these basket items in one pot and your pot burns or your pot falls on the floor, you're pretty much out of the competition.
Yeah, listen.
And they serve stuff that could actually kill people.
Yeah.
That they've done it wrong, which is kind of amazing. Why would you put something toxic in a basket, not knowing whether somebody knows how to cook it or not? That was just, I think there was one, it was raw, it was eel. And it was like part of a sushi thing, but eel has to be cooked. It can't be served raw because there's a toxin in it that will kill you. Well, so if you don't know this, hello, cancel Christmas. I don't know what to say,
And the judges are yelling at them like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And these guys are running back and forth. And listen, I've cooked in a lot of restaurants. Mm-hmm. And I have never, ever, you set yourself, of course, for what your meals are going to be for that day. You prep for those meals, which prepping takes longer than actually pushing out the food. Mm-hmm. And if you run out, you run out. I mean, you don't go back and try to revisit that. That's done. That's part of what that special is for that day, or what you're cooking. You prep for that, and they don't give them enough time to do that. And I tell you, if any chef ever told me, "Here's some gummy bears, go make a dessert out of it," I would throw the gummy bears right back at him and say, "You make a dessert out of it," because that's impossible.
Right, but that's just showing. The concept of this show, I feel, is they are showing their skill, a skill that they've either perfected or trying to perfect or in the process of perfecting. I don't know, but
I think that's
the gist of the show. That's the entertainment part of it. It's like,
go ahead.
What I was going to say is, the judges a lot of the times come up with the baskets that the contestants are, supposed to cook with. And then they have another one to where the viewers actually make up the baskets, which there's some pretty cruel viewers out there, because some of those things in those baskets are impossible. And I would just like, my hair would be on fire. I run out of there. I'm like, I can't do this.
That's what I'm talking. Can you imagine the customers coming in and telling you what they want? I mean, that never happens. That's what I'm talking about. It's unrealistic. Don't get me wrong. It's funny sometimes, but it's very unrealistic. What they do sometimes, to me, is an awesome job, but it's an unrealistic format, and that's why. And combined with a host that has, the personality of a glass of water, I just find it pretty much incredible to watch. And I'm not a big fan. Let me tell you.
I know that. Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. So there's one other competition that they have, and a lot of cooking shows are doing this now. And it's called Junior, Chef Junior, Master Cook Junior. And to me, they take, kids between 9 to 13, and they have them compete. This reminds me a lot of Dancing Moms, right? To me, this is almost cruel. The parents are entering these people and these kids in this competition where it's more about the parents than it is the kid. And to watch a kid cry because he didn't make the cut, to me, is a little cruel. I don't like it on any of the shows, especially on Chopped. I mean, how can you really say that this kid is a master chef, or he's a sous chef, or he's any kind of chef? He's not. He's a kid. Let the kid be a kid. And I think it's a cruel way. All these cooking shows and on Chopped too, I think is a very cruel thing. It reminds me a lot, as I said, of Dancing Moms, where it's more about them than it is the kid.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of some of the kid shows. There's a couple of them that I do watch that I do like. And I know there's a baking one. And the kids try so hard and they do have fun with it, but they're devastated when, something goes wrong, or, the cookie dough sticks, or, this doesn't rise. But yeah, I think the pressure for a kid, especially, not that they don't have a talent of sorts, but keep them off the TV screen. I think that's too much pressure. I do.
I do.
I think it's a great chance, possibly, but that's a lot of pressure. That's
What's
a lot
the
of pressure.
What's the difference?
Even the adults cry on the show. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree. And what's the difference between that and saying, having a beauty contest for 10-year-olds, right? I mean, to me,
yeah, that's too much. Yeah,
I think they got to stop that. I mean, I believe all the shows got to stop that and let the kids be kids and wait till they're at least 16 before you start putting them under that pressure. And not that I don't think kids are some kids are very talented. I worked with a chef whose daughter used to come in and help him prep, and she was very good. She was only 13 years old, and she has a future if she wants to continue doing that, which she did. I don't know if she still is or not, but she had a nice talent of putting things together and prepping food. And I was really impressed with what she did at her age. And that's fine behind the scenes. That's fine, but when you start putting kids on camera and asking them to do something that is very difficult, really, I think there's no place in cooking shows for that. That's just my opinion.
No, I do agree in a manner of speaking. I think that kids should be taught in a very comfortable home setting. And then as they progress, and if they want to pursue that at an older age,
right?
Because, somebody could have that dream of being a cook, go on one of these shows, have it all go in a handbasket, and just never pursue it again, which would be wrong.
I agree.
That's the part I don't like.
I agree. I agree. And like I said,
bring them up like they should be.
I agree. And like I said, we did have a young girl that did help out at one of the restaurants for the catering, and she did a real good job. But there wasn't pressure on her. There wasn't like,
that's the difference. That's the difference. Like I said, the adults can't take it. They're flinging stuff. They're crying. They're overwhelmed. They panic. And you figure if an adult's going to panic, what is a child under the same pressure going to do? I understand that they screen them. I understand, but still, some of them do. Yeah, I think that would leave a scar. I do. Yeah. In a manner of speaking.
I do too. And not that I think you should baby your kids. You know how I stand.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
My children, but this is something I disagree with. So we're kind of agreement on that. We're kind of on a disagreement on whether the show is good or not. I think the show is good, but needs a little bit of work. Next show that we're going to talk about is Supermarket Stakeout. Mm-hmm. This is one of the most ridiculous shows on Food Network. I mean, here you are. Can you imagine? Now, some people see them and maybe go check them out. A lot of people just don't pay attention. They go into this grocery store, they go shop, and they come out, and here's 4 people standing in front of them with masks, almost holding them hostage.
Yeah,
they're taking their card away from them. I mean, could you? If I came out and saw that, I would probably go back in the store and call the police, or I would get very indignant, which some do. But the premise to me is so ridiculous that I just laugh every time I see it. What are your impressions on? I mean, suppose you're pushing. Listen. You're pushing the grocery cart out. You're doing your shopping. You're in there. You're looking at your budget. You're good. You come out and somebody goes, "I'll give you $150 for your cart right now," and you got 4 people bidding on it. I mean, wouldn't that shake you up a little bit?
Yeah, I would head for another near exit. And I grocery shop at least once a week, and I do not want anybody coming up to me and trying to figure out what they're going to do with my grocery basket. It's mine. I picked it out. I went through all the hassle. I dodged people. I am keeping my basket.
Yeah, I mean, just go on grocery shop. Yeah, just go on grocery shop today is a chore.
Well, Yeah,
I mean,
right.
just going in the grocery store and trying to find stuff that you want for that week, and then you come out and here's 4 people in masks, stopping you in your tracks saying, "I'll give you 100." How much did you pay for that? Like it's any of your business. But I mean, it is kind of funny. I think
Entertainment value I will give them, but
right.
reality wise, no, you're not going to buy my basket, and I'm not going to go back in that store and do it over again. You can't
That's
give me enough money to go back and do this again.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes. And so
not working for me.
let's give you a little history on Supermarket Stakeout. Again, 2019. It's hosted by Alex Gormashelli.
Yeah, Cornishelli.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and she's been on the Food Network forever too. I mean,
she's awesome. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's been the judge in competitions. Every time I see her in a competition, she loses. I don't.
No. You haven't watched. No, she always wins.
She wins.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I've seen her lose.
Grocery games. She wins all the time on grocery games. She wins. They did. I don't know how many episodes there were of it. I started watching it during this year, and it's Alex Across the Nation, and nobody has beat her yet. I think she only got beat once. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. All the different. I guess they were going to go through the different states,
right?
And folks from different states were competing with her, and there's an actual theme. Say it's all chocolate or pasta or whatever. And she always wins. Very rarely does she lose.
Interesting.
Very rarely. Have I seen her?
Then I must be watching the show where she rarely loses.
Yeah, where are you? You're not watching it with me. What up?
I know I'm not. I know.
Yeah.
So,
do you know the only thing? Do you know what she doesn't know how to cook?
What's that?
Hot dog.
Hot dogs.
That's her Achilles heel. Hot dog.
Really?
That woman can cook. That woman can cook anything under the sun, but her Achilles heel is the good old American hot dog.
How can you not cook a hot dog? I mean, what I mean, anybody can cook a hot dog. Come on.
I didn't go delve into the whole history, but that's what I heard. She does not know how to cook a hot dog.
Wow. So maybe that's when I watched her when there was hot dog cooking on those.
Maybe, yeah. That's her Achilles heel, supposedly. So there you go.
All right. But let me give you a little thing about how it's set up. So they give you $500 for the whole. Again, they cook appetizer, entree, and dessert, and you got so much time again to make these things, and you're standing there and you're waiting for a shot. Now everybody's got their cart. They're over there. They're starting to prepare food, and you always got this one guy or girl that's standing there and nobody's coming out. And I don't know if it's because they see them and they're scared, or it's just slow. But I mean, it's interesting to see them. I mean, they're ready to buy. They just got to buy anything, and they end up with stuff that you can't even cook. Sometimes it's hilarious. That's hilarious to me. So
yeah, it is the entertainment part of it, or wondering what they're going to get. Like you get 50 pounds of dog food, and then you get another 18 pounds of dog food because you got 2 different dogs that eat 2 different meals. So there you go.
Yeah.
Or somebody's having a birthday party and they bought all the party supplies. We already got the food. We're not worried about, that. So you've got, paper plates, cook a paper plate and, a balloon. What are you going to do with that? So, yeah.
Yes.
The entertainment part of it, or especially on the ones where they can't look, into the bag and they're just randomly buying a bag. So, that's kind of like the old grab bag for 25 cents. Ooh, guess what I got, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you get to the next round. So they make their appetizers. They get through. Of course, somebody ends up losing, and they got to leave. They got to take their grocery bag and go home.
Groceries with them. Take your groceries with you.
Yeah, here's your grocery bag. Get out of here.
And I don't have a dog for the 90 pounds of dog food that I have. Yes.
What you do, right? Or your neighbor does.
Right.
So now you can start actually asking them what's in the bag in the second round. So again, they're offering them money for this. And again, can you imagine coming out and somebody asking if they can go through not just offer you money. Now they're going to go through your bags and offer you money.
No, not no. You know, if you want to give me $60 for my dozen and a half of eggs,
So
I might do that. That one I might go for.
right.
But to have, if they would ask me, do you have eggs in your bags or anything like that? That would be okay. But pawing through my food, picking it up, looking at it, no,
Yes,
it's just no.
That's personal,
What?
right?
Yeah, it is.
It's like
I have a hard time with baggers bagging my groceries and they throw my bread or they throw something. It's like, wait a minute, that's mine. I picked it out.
right.
And you're treating it like that, So
Right.
yeah, that show I do have a little bit of apprehension about. I'm not,
Yeah.
entertainment wise, like I said, but it's weird. It's just weird.
And you only got that $500, so they're all trying to outbid each other, and you may get to that last round where you're going to get a dessert, right? You got to make a dessert out of something, and
Mhm.
and you've got maybe $10 left or $20 left,
And
and
nothing to make you.
yeah. So I mean, it is funny to me
Yeah.
what they do there. I do kind of find it enjoyable because it's funny, but to really again test your skills as a person who can really cook, I don't know. I don't see. I don't. I have a hard time with that because I understand you're making something out of nothing that takes talent. I agree with that, but that's not really what a sous chef or a real good line cook does. Number one or number two, they have some kind of a format. They have some kind of plan. And again, if the chef came to me or a sous chef came to me and said, "Hey, listen, I need you to make an entree," and all we got is is Rice Krispie treats and a couple of yodels and some some beat up pork meat back there, I would tell them to go take a hike and tell them to do it because that's impossible. But again, the talent, yeah, I would go along. It does take talent to do that, Linda Lou.
Yeah, I agree with the talent part of it. I know that they have a sort of a structure, like they have to make a breakfast using, certain things.
Right.
I that one I think I'm in agreement with you as far as it doesn't showcase a talent because they're really not making something out of nothing unless the times run out and like I said they ended up with cat food and whatever else. But it's not because they they seem to have stuff they can work with, if
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Unless it's that blind one. If it's the blind one and and they have to go back for another one or they can only do one shop, then that is the challenge. But
Right.
outside of that, I don't see a huge challenge in that one. They're
Right.
not there's no real obstacle for that one.
And the last and on the last one, they do let you go back and get one more item.
If you have time, you can run in the store, grab what you need.
Right. Right.
But who knows, by that time, the damage could be done, or you could be done with your dish and you don't need anything. So, like I said, that one, I think we're in agreement on. The entertainment value is, it's funny. You watch them and you kind of wonder what's going to happen. But as far as the talent end of it, I don't think it doesn't showcase too much, in
Yeah.
my opinion. I don't know.
Because you'll have some people that have never cooked in their lives commercially, that may be bloggers or that may be home cooks, and they can win this thing, and they
Right.
do win, which
Right.
is that's kind of interesting. And again, let's go back to the judges. They must get paid per appearance, right? Because you have the same people competing and judging at all these shows. There's nobody new. It's not like they call somebody that you haven't seen before. If you watch the Food Network at all, you're going to see the same people recycled through. So I would imagine they're on a pay per appearance contract, Linda Lou.
That part, yes, I didn't do very much research on that, but I would tend to agree with that. I very rarely do you see all the names. You really do. You know all the names of all the different ones that are on all the different shows. So yeah, I would assume that they get paid, or
Yeah.
at least the money's donated to a charity of their choice. Because
Oh, they get paid. They get paid.
yeah,
Trust me. Trust
and
me.
even when they compete against each other, there's a person there too for them. But 90% of the time, well, no, I can't say that either, because I know that some of them do get for charity and some of them do get for their own
Yeah,
personal.
yeah, they do. There are shows set up like that that go to their charities, and that's why they're competing. But I would imagine even if they get that for their charities or cooking for that or competing for that, I would imagine, especially in the judging part,
Yeah.
they would get paid so much per appearance. We made fun of Guy Fieri a little bit, and he's probably the biggest. I would say is the biggest star on the Food Network right now, and he's got a lot of different shows, and we'll be covering a couple more of them later on in our series. Yeah, I thought these two shows were like the opposite, but the same, right? I mean, one is more entertainment,
Right.
and one is more serious, but they're asking these chefs to
Yes.
come in and compete in an unreasonable time with an unreasonable food to make what they want them to make. So, different but kind of the same, I believe.
Right. I know that on Chopped, the losers don't totally lose. They get $1,000 for their appearance for
Right.
the ones that do compete. And then of course some of them go on to win the 10,000, 20,000, or the tournament or whatever they do. And
Right.
like I said, that showcases to me more of quick on your feet talent and making a lot of something out of nothing, or foreign stuff that I've never heard of, and I've learned a lot. I'm like, wow, what the heck is that thing? And, good old Google, what the heck, So I
Right.
found out what these things are. And they've had some really nasty baskets on there too with, what do you do with a whole canned chicken? Not
Right.
chicken shredded up, but a whole chicken in a can.
Right. I think these shows are really good for our people that aren't cooks, right? People at home
Yeah.
who have things laying around. They're like, well, what should I make instead of going out and buying a pizza all the time, or going out to McDonald's or Burger King? And they're saying, well, what can I make with what I got? I got nothing in there. And these shows show them. I think this is probably the best thing about these shows, that show them that you can make something out of nothing. If you got some ramen noodles in there and you got some cream in there and you got a little bit of ice cream or whatever, you can break that down and make a sauce out of it, which most people today don't know. But I think that is a part of the lure of these shows that I think are helpful, are for home cooks more than the real chefs out there.
And I'll tell you what, take an egg, put it on any dish you make, and it is the best thing since sliced bread.
What is this with the egg? Right?
Egg.
Egg is in everything now. I mean, listen, in a Caesar salad, I know that's the old fashioned. You put a sunny side egg on there,
Exactly.
and then some sauces. Of course, you need either the egg yolks only, or you incorporate the whole eggs, egg wash. I understand, but to take 6-minute
Egg on
egg
top of
or
it,
two and mix it in with everything. I mean, every dessert. I mean, I don't get that either. I mean, that has become the biggest fad, I think, on these cooking shows, besides a lot of texture stuff, is the egg. The egg, you're right. I've never seen so many people.
I've never seen egg used so much in my life.
Yeah.
Ever. And
Yeah.
oh my God, there's, I know how to fry an egg. I know how to boil an egg. I know how to poach an egg.
Yeah.
But these chefs have degrees of, oh, well, this is like not quite right on. And like, it's an egg. Come on.
Yeah.
Not rocket science. It's an egg. And
Yeah.
you just put it on a triple decker cheese bacon burger with some sauce, and you put an egg on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just no. Not my
The
thing.
The All-American Egg is making a comeback, Linda Lou. That's what I. That's all I, that's all I know. The All-American Egg. So, folks, that's really it for the two shows we're covering today. Thank you for joining us. I think we're going to get into America's Worst Cooks. That is, I think we could almost do a whole show on that one.
That was fun.
That's fun and ridiculous at the same time. And,
yep.
And there is talk behind the scenes that it's fixed. Now, I don't know if it's true or not that these worst cooks aren't as bad as they say they are. Because if you can't operate a toaster in your kitchen, that's not a bad. Yeah, that's not a bad cook. That's just somebody that's just dumb. And I don't think people out there are dumb. I think they may not cook good, but they're not dumb. So I think there's a little bit overboard of how bad they are. And like I said, they get back and at the end, they're cooking for these supposedly great judges, and they're making exquisite meals. And it's to do that in a week. I think, is it a week that they have to do it?
No, it's I think it's 5. It depends on how many of them start. I don't know if it's a 5 or 6 week, maybe an 8 week. I'm not positive right now.
Okay.
But they do go through them and then they start eliminating.
Right.
And sometimes they eliminate 2 at a time or 1 at a time, But like you said, I'm gonna have to do a little extra research. But I watch it. I love it. I watch it.
I know you do.
And
the celebrity worst cooks is probably the worst. But
that one.
We'll get. It is funny, but it's the worst because I don't know. But anyway, we're going to get to that probably next week, folks. We might have another show besides that, but I think we could do a whole show on the worst cooks in America. I think we can too. So I want to thank you all for joining us. Thanks for the views we got here today. We'll be back next week on making fun of cooking shows. So please join us and have a great day, everybody.
Don't forget.